Hello, welcome. So there's something about 90s thrillers, they really just don't make them like they used to. And in 1991, we had this movie, Sleeping with the Enemy, starring Julia Roberts. And yes, I have to use my hands every time I say the title. Please subscribe. I want more people to see my videos and hopefully build, a little bit of an audience. Some context, if you're not familiar with Miss Julia's work or that specific time period in the 90s in the movie industry. So in 1989, Julia was nominated for her first Oscar for Steel Magnolias, which I still haven't seen. I've heard it's a really funny movie, lots of tears of laughter, perhaps. And then the next year, 1990, she was in another movie that kind of was like an art house hit. It wasn't super popular with like the box office, and that was Pretty Woman. And then in 1991, she did Sleeping with the Enemy. So she had like 3 bangers. She also did Flatliners in between these 2 movies. I think after this movie, it solidified her star status, right? Because after Pretty Woman, people were like, oh, we got to keep an eye on this one. She's got it.
Morning, Laura.
Let's talk about how young Julia Roberts is in this movie. Take a second, guess how old you think she is. She was 22. And I think she's playing someone a little bit older than that, right? She's supposed to be a young wife, but 22 is super young. I'm going to say that maybe she's like supposed to be 24, 25 in this movie.
I like a man who dresses for clamming.
Business. And on our vacation. Do you forgive me?
How about these? Aren't they beautiful? Thought I could see them for starters. Would deer broth?
I told the Blanchards would do their stupid party.
I might have to stop watching this movie. In my mind, this role was played by Aidan Quinn. I've seen this movie once a long time ago, and I thought that this was Aidan Quinn. But this is definitely not Aidan Quinn, which is a huge disappointment to me because I love watching Aidan Quinn, especially in the 90s.
That's a pretty dress. I wouldn't have thought of it.
You're thinking the red?
Black, actually.
Well, it's backless. Could be chilly tonight.
Is this a classic example of what negging is? I think this is a perfect example of that. It's subtle too, right? Like I wouldn't have thought of it like a backhanded compliment. It's not a compliment. He's saying, don't wear that dress. I hate it. Oh, and she went with the dress he wanted her to wear. So that's noted. And I feel like the mustaches on men is coming back into fashion, having a resurgence, if you will. And I'm not really a huge fan. It gives me very 90s dad. But maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe some of us want to be reminded of our mustached fathers. I never had a father, so that does not apply to me personally. That was scary. This music does not particularly get me in the mood. It's called Symphonie Fantastique. And it's super creepy and overbearing, and I think it says a lot that this is this guy's favorite song. I like how they're building their tension. We're 6 minutes in, and we can tell something is not quite right with these 2 characters. And we know Julia Roberts is always the good guy. She's always a protagonist, so it's not her. Something is off with him, if that wasn't clear to everyone. I just have to point it out. But they're doing a great job at building that because it's hard to pinpoint exactly what's wrong with this guy. They're kind of giving you a breadcrumb, and now you have like a whole pile of breadcrumbs, and you feel like, okay, something's off. This guy, you got to get away from him.
John Fleischman. I guess we must be neighbors.
Martin Burney. We live up there.
Oh, so
that must be your wife that I keep seeing staring down from the window.
Laura.
You're a lucky man. I've been admiring your house. It's one of the best on Cape Cod.
Thanks. This is a terrific looking boat. Boats are a passion of mine, one I don't get to indulge very often.
Oh, that's too bad. I would never let anything keep me off the water.
My wife doesn't like sailing. She can't swim. Nearly drowned when she was a child. I usually try to get her on a boat at least once a season. It's difficult, but I try.
Seems expository, seems a little clunky. He's giving this information and it feels like they're giving it in a way that to make the audience understand this versus a more casual way of speaking to a fellow rich.
Well, listen, I'm going to be taking a run up the coast this evening. It's full moon. Weather's supposed to be great. Maybe this would be a good time.
Maybe. Let me talk to her. I'll raise a champion. Nice looking man, the doctor.
Doctor?
He says I have a beautiful house. Best on the beach. When was he in here? Yesterday while I was in town?
Martin, I don't know the doctor.
Sure you do. Young, good looking, outfitting his sailboat down there. He says you've been staring at him from the window all day.
Dang, he totally twisted that guy's words, which is scary, right? To see that kind of manipulation and like he actually seems to believe that, which is just twisted.
Does it give you that much pleasure to humiliate me? Stop it! You'll pout and spoil our supper. Our beautiful supper.
I'm so sorry. Will you smile?
So he backhands Laura and then he blames her for all of it. And then he says sorry. So clearly that's a pattern there, right? He hurts her, he blames her, and then he apologizes. She's going to release her anger and frustration somehow, but who's going to replace those light bulbs? And also, what if someone, people are barefoot at the beach, so what if someone steps in glass? But okay, get your anger out, get your rage out. I get it. Okay, so they're going to use this song, and anytime you hear it, it's a cue to the bad guy, right? I believe this is called a leitmotif. I have to look this up every single time. I can't seem to retain that information, but I believe it's a leitmotif, which is a piece of music linked to a specific character, and every time you hear it, you think of that character, and I think it's like an opera thing or something. So they have sex, and it's super clear that Laura doesn't want to be there, but she kind of has to do whatever this guy wants, or else he's going to hurt her physically in all of the other ways. And I think, unfortunately, this is something that does happen if you're in a relationship with someone abusive or in a marriage, any type of relationship. You have to kind of concede so to protect yourself, to not get hurt further.
You want something. I know, my princess.
Ugh, I never want to be called princess. And that's some really good writing there, because the word princess, it leaves you with a certain feeling, right? And the way he says it, his delivery is really, really good too, right? So every time he says princess, it gives you the ick. So nice job, team, on delivering that. And that's exactly what he wants. He wants a pretty princess.
Mrs. Clark called from the library. She said they could use me full-time now.
You already work 3 mornings a week, and I support that, because I know your love of books. What about our home? Don't you love our home as much?
He's like a controlling father, and we learn that she's left Martin before.
She died, Martin. How can I not go to her funeral?
If you had told me, I would have taken you, given me a chance to pay my last respects. But you sneaked off inexplicably.
I didn't sneak off.
Need I remind you how I worried?
No. You reminded me enough the night I came back.
You aren't suggesting I enjoy that.
Oh, God, no. That would make you a monster.
That's good. That's so good. That writing's so good, and I love how she delivers that.
We will always be together.
Nothing can keep us apart. It's time to go.
Why is he forcing her to go sailing? Why can't he just take Khaki Pants with him? I think he kind of gets off on his wife's fear, and he wants to be the protector, and he's telling her, oh, it's okay, and I don't know, he purposely wants to put her in this uncomfortable situation. Once again, I think comes back to like power and control.
There's that first buoy. We're almost home now. Be careful. Laura! Laura! Laura!
So there's this big storm, and Laura falls out of the boat. Interesting, very interesting. So we're following Martin for a bit here, and I like how they made his reaction anger to Laura going missing, because I don't think that's like a normal level-headed person's gut instinct if someone went missing, right? It would be like fear, worry, any other emotion, anxiety, not necessarily anger, which says a lot about his character.
That was the night that I died, and someone else was saved.
Ooh, we've got some voiceover narration. Look, I got the chills. You can't really see, can you? I'm having an emotional reaction. Perfect use of voiceover.
Someone who was afraid of water, but learned to swim. Someone who knew there would be one moment when he wouldn't be watching. Someone who knew that the darkness from the broken lights would show the way.
Brilliant. We had the setup and the payoff. So good. Perfect example of that. Woo! Got her go bag, which means she's been planning this for a while. I don't know if she should prioritize cutting her hair, because anytime you cut your hair, it leaves a ton of hair everywhere. She's in a rush, right? She's trying to get out of the house before he comes back. I would have just tied it up and gotten out of there and cut it at the bus station or something like that. Half the time, things I flush don't go down fully. This seems very risky. Now, before I continue, I want to get your opinion. Do you think that the doctor guy was actually in on Laura's escape plan? Because if you remember, the husband accused her of having that guy in their house, which at that time, when we heard it, it's like, dude, this guy is like making these things up. He's so possessive. He's just purposely picking a fight. But now I'm wondering, when they were on the boat, the khaki pants doctor guy, it almost seemed like he was giving Laura a heads up or like a cue when he's like, there's the first buoy, we're close now, like we're close, make a move.
There's that first buoy. We're almost home now.
So I'm curious if you think the doctor maybe did help her or if he wasn't in on it at all.
sniffer. So glad you could come.
How much is it again?
$700 plus first and last month's deposit, Miss Walters.
Waters. 700. I'm gonna take it.
Good.
Does she really need that big old house? I get that it's a movie and you want the location to look cinematic and worth filming and have some character, but it seems pretty big for one person. And also 700, woo. Actually, I don't know if I think that that's a lot of money or not a lot of money for rent. For a full house, 700 sounds pretty good. But I know in the 90s, how much was that? In 1990, 700 was around 1,500. So 1,500 for a full house. That seems a little bit expensive, right? She's in like the South, right? I thought things were a little bit cheaper there. Yes, you show him. You can do whatever you want now. I'm impressed with anyone that can do the West Side Story whistle. I like this kind of, would you call this a meet cute? Sure, I like this meet cute. It works for me. I like the West Side Story whistle.
When you're a jet, you stay up, jet.
Would you find it suspicious if you found these broken bulbs? I would have assumed it was one of the rich kids, one of the rich brats in the neighborhood. Rich kids are always up to no good, but this guy's clearly paranoid, which we know, so it makes sense.
Harvest time? You know, people get arrested for stealing in this town.
Why is this man sneaking up on a woman in the dark? That's not cute. That's not endearing. That's just like, ugh.
They all look pretty good to me. It's unlawful trespass, you know.
It's just a few apples to bake a pie.
A pie? Well, why didn't you say so? Maybe we can make a deal. I love pie.
I don't make deals.
She will not be manipulated again.
You forgot these. It's a shame to let them rot on the ground. They're really great for baking. And look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you.
I remember now that I didn't really like this character, and I think it's this scene. His first scene was good. This scene, I just get the weirdest feeling and reaction to it, and I'm not about it. I just get the weirdest reaction to it. My gut tells me, don't trust this guy. He clearly has a weird sense of humor.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Burney. My name is Vanessa Shelley.
Yes?
I hope I'm not disturbing you. I just heard about Laura and I wanted to call and tell you how much we'll miss her.
Thank you. How did you know her?
From the YWCA.
No, you must be speaking of someone else. My wife never went to the YWCA.
No. We took swimming there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m.
Look, there's obviously some mistake. My wife drowned. She couldn't swim.
Well, at first she couldn't, but she became a good swimmer.
I'm sure you have the wrong woman.
This is odd. Mr. Burney, your wife studied gymnastics, didn't she?
No, my wife never studied gymnastics.
That's strange. She told us that's how she got all those terrible bruises. Mr. Burney, I don't understand it. I'm sorry if I've bothered you. This is just so confusing.
I have have the chills again. Damn, I think this is a snorri cam shot, which means the camera is rigged to the actual actor. They usually have some kind of vest on, and then there's rigging that connects the camera to the actor. I actually got to work and build one of these and help rig one of these pretty recently. And the shot looks so specific, and it's not overused a ton in the movies I've seen, at least. And I think this was a perfect example of how to use this and really put you in this guy's head. Like, his world is spiraling. I don't think that's how toilets work.
I'm not asking for anything, Ben.
Neither am I. Jesus, that's real.
If you saw somebody's wound, would you reach out to touch it? God, everything he does, I think, is wrong. Like, oh, you're hurt? Let me touch. Oh, let me touch it, make you feel better. Like, no, get out of here.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna be.
Yeah, I saw you in town yesterday. You were going into Walgreens.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I called out your name. You didn't even blink.
Maybe I didn't hear you.
Your name isn't Sarah Waters, is it? And I don't even know your name.
People never really know each other, Ben.
It doesn't have to be that way. Give it a chance.
I can't, I'm sorry.
What are you afraid of?
What is it with men?
Don't do that. Look, I gotta know. We're either honest with each other or it doesn't happen. It just stops right here.
It never started. I miss you, Mom.
Hello? Is anyone there?
I love you.
Hello?
I'm okay.
The mom. Aw, this scene is so sad.
6 months ago, she was removed, taken elsewhere. But in her condition, not very far. I'd suggest 2 days' drive at most.
I can put 3 men on it, but it'll cost.
Good.
Rich people, here we go again. How are you supposed to compete with that? You can't. And it's not fair. Damn it.
You know why I came here? To be near my mom. She had a partial stroke 3 years ago. I couldn't care for her.
How does she know?
I don't know. I haven't seen her. I haven't gone there yet.
Why not?
I'm not sure it's safe.
So spooky. I think that the mom is blind. That took me a few seconds to get, but the scene is so creepy. Very effective.
Sarah?
Ben?
Yeah, it's me. I'm sorry, did I scare you?
Yes, that was a super aggressive knock. You're like banging down her door and you have the gall to ask like, oh, did I scare you?
stop. Please, I can't. It's not right. Stop. Stop it. Stop it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sarah. God, what did he do to you?
Please, God. Please.
Sarah, please.
Please. Oh, God, Ben, please. I'm sorry, but you have to go.
She says stop, and then on the second stop he actually stops, but even then she kind of has to push him off of her. What did he do to you? You know, I don't think that reaction is very helpful in the moment. I kind of get where he's coming from, but like, that's not a good thing to hear, right? I don't think that's a helpful thing to say. I get that it's the 90s. Reactions were different back then, but that just doesn't seem helpful.
What you said is right. I had a husband. And he hurt me. I guess I'm just really afraid.
What?
What more does she need to say? What do you mean, of what? It seems pretty damn obvious what's happening.
I'm never getting my life back together.
It just feels like that. Someday you might surprise yourself.
I'm glad you're here.
So Ben helps Laura, you know, he's a drama teacher. He helps her disguise so she can go see her mom. And Julia in drag kind of reminds me of Kermit the Frog. I don't know. I think it's the tiny mustache. I think that's the connection there.
Sorry, you're here.
Hi, Mom. Hi.
Will you let me help you with your supper? Does look delicious.
Who are you?
My name is Daryl Walker, ma'am. I'm a police officer.
Oh. Am I under arrest?
No, I just have some questions. The Boston police have called us. They say her husband is in this area. We think he wants to harm her. So if she calls, you have her ring the police at Sioux City and ask
She won't call, not till Sunday, she said. He teaches dramatics.
Where?
At a college in Cedar Falls.
Thank you, Chloe.
Help her.
Wait a second. Is he about to smother this old lady? That's what we're dealing with? This type of person that smothers old ladies?
Please. Excuse me, Chloe. It's time for your medicine.
Here you go, Chloe. Don't worry. Where is she?
Please don't make me ask again.
I don't know.
My wife. She's only my wife. Wonderful fuck, isn't she?
Mister, you've got the wrong guy.
That would be disappointing. I hate to be wrong.
Why? Why does it have to be me?
Because you teach drama.
Oh, Jesus God, there must be half a dozen.
It's you.
No, you don't understand. I live with another man. Ask anyone.
What the heck? I get that there's many gay people in the drama world, but this kind of feels like it's supposed to be played for laughs. I don't know. This makes me uncomfortable, and I can't fully put my finger on why.
If you tell anyone, you tell the police. You and your gentleman friend.
So give me 20 minutes. I just want to freshen up.
Sure.
Okay. Oh, Can I bring you anything?
Just you.
Freshen up. And then she has a whole bath. And I'm pro, leaving a man waiting. But she literally said, I won't be long. Movie did a really good job of setting this up, right? The first time, it's hinting that Martin has an issue about control. The second time, it's Laura, grabbing her independence and being like, these towels, I'll do whatever I want. I'm my own person.
I'm sorry. Are you okay?
Jesus, this guy. I love this shot. It's like someone is watching and creeping on them.
You want to do something tomorrow?
Yeah, sure.
Now tell me, why is Julia making toast if she just had dinner? Maybe Ben can't cook for shit. I would not let that song play. And I also think it's interesting that she thinks that Ben must have done it. And it's like, yeah, Ben probably would do that because he's terrible at picking up on social cues. And you already said you don't like that song and he's gonna play it. Typical Ben, always doing the wrong thing. This whole sequence is brilliant. Mastery execution of suspense. They've set up all these scenarios in the previous scene. The dish towels, the pantry. So buckle up, something's going down.
Sarah? You there? You hear me?
Just a second. Ben, I'm just so tired.
Still spooked by ghosts, huh?
They're all around me.
How about I come in?
It's really not a good time, okay?
Good night, Sarah.
Good night.
He doesn't matter. He's nothing, Laura. Nothing.
Did Sam just literally hear Martin talking through that very thin glass?
What's his name? This is yours, Laura. We are one. We will always be one. Nothing can keep us apart.
Always go for the groin. We learned that from Miss Gracie Lee Freebush.
Come to me. Martin walked his way.
Always my pleasure.
Let's Varna.
Oh, I don't think so.
He may issue an order instructing me to stay away from my own wife. Nothing can keep me away. And I won't let you live without me. Think carefully.
Let's give me the police. Hurry, please.
This is our last chance.
Come quickly. I've just killed an intruder.
All right, another 90s thriller is done. Definitely a lot of parallels between Sleeping with the Enemy and Enough, which came out, I think, 11 years later. The stories feel very similar, right? Women in an abusive marriage, and then they're forced to escape and kind of make a new life. And in the end, they can't fully escape their husband, so they have to kill them. Both characters really had to fight, and they also had to accept the help from other people, which really shows if you're totally alone how difficult it can be to escape this toxic situation of being married to an abusive partner. As I noted in my Enough video, I like that both these movies and their main characters, the filmmaker didn't fully try to justify the killing, the murder of the spouse, right? It's a little more gray area there. There is an argument for calling the police and the role of law enforcement, but I think both of these movies are acknowledging that the justice system has historically not been on the side of survivors of domestic abuse.